Some keys for the prone liftoff. Ensure you have proper shoulder mobility first. This should be pain-free. You should be getting some extension from the thoracic spine, but make sure you're not getting any from the lumbar spine. You shouldn't be feeling your low back work at all. Think about pulling your scapula down and back. Try and point that inferior border of the scapula down into the mat. And don't shrug your shoulders up.
All right, so this is great for teaching a hip hinge. Right here, I have a dowel. I'm placing it with one hand on my tailbone here. It's also making contact with point 2, which is my mid-back, and then the third point is my head. So my other hand's holding it against my head, this hand's holding it against my tailbone, and then it's on my mid-back. And now when I go into this hip hinge position, all 3 points are maintaining contact with the dowel, and then I come back up. You can tell how if I round too much, see how this falls off of my tailbone and my neck? You have to make sure everything stays stacked on top of each other, and I'm only moving at my hip. If I round the low back, I lose it. So keep everything straight, just move back and forth at your hip, and then come back. So this is the hip again. So I'm just moving here. If you want, you can put your hand here just to cue yourself to make sure you know how to do a hip hinge, and then test yourself by using a dowel.
So with this exercise, we're taking the arms out of the equation with the golf swing. We're just really focused on our hip turn as well as our shoulder turn. This is a really nice one just to groove the swing pattern. Like I said, you can take the arms out of the equation, the elbow out of the equation, especially some of those golfer elbow cases. Just think about turning the hips, turning the shoulder, working on that X pattern, that X factor, right? Getting hip and shoulder separation. And then you're just working on grooving that pattern. I'm a lefty, so I'm showing it for a lefty. You can use a golf stick, you can use a dowel, but what I'm really focused on is turning my hips, turning my shoulders, getting that separation, and then moving through it, using my hips and my core to generate power with the swing versus my arms. Okay, so a few things with this exercise. Again, we're using a stick, something that's very light, that you feel comfortable with, holding with both hands. And now I'm demonstrating shoulder abduction with my right arm. I want your palm facing forward, okay? So when we get into this position, our thumb is facing up, and my left arm is driving the entire movement. So I'm really trying not to use my right arm. I'm just slowly taking my right arm, using my left arm, and then slowly coming back down. The goal is to be going purely out to the side. If this is bothering your shoulder or it doesn't feel great, you can let your right arm come a little bit forward. But the goal is as you do this more and more and you get more comfortable with it, we want to try to be going purely out to the side. A big thing to focus on with this exercise is don't lean to try to get your right arm higher. Also, don't shrug your right shoulder up as you do it. Just try to stay nice and tall. Just let your right arm go for a ride using your left arm.